A live look as Dwayne Haskins, Bucky Brooks' #1 quarterback in this 2019 draft class, beginning his throwing session, and we are here with you for the entirety. Bucky, this is a guy who broke Drew Brees' Big Ten record for touchdown passes in a single season, the most prolific Ohio State quarterback that we've seen for the Buckeyes. And the arm talent is obvious.
I mean, it's spectacular. He is a spectacular thrower. When you draw them up in terms of pocket quarterbacks, the guys who have dominated position the last 25 to 30 years, he plays the position in that manner. What we want to see today is we want to see him continue to do those things. You would like to see him add a little more movement to the mix so we can see how he's able to kind of stretch his game. Is he able to just throw from the pocket, or can he do some of the movement stuff that some teams do, stretch, bootleg stuff, get on the perimeter, and do that? We don't want him to be a runner, but we want to see how much can we expand the playbook to give him an opportunity to attack the defense in a variety of ways.
And what do you get out of this little latter portion of the deal with the throw at the end?
So the latter portion of the deal is actually just to show the footwork and the movement. For him, it's a bit of the warm-up. The trainer that you see right there to the right is Quincy Avery. Quincy Avery is a renowned quarterback trainer. He worked with Deshaun Watson from the time he was a small kid in the Atlanta area. He is a guy that does a great job of preparing quarterbacks. So Dwayne Haskins and him have been working together for a long time. I think you're going to see a workout that's really designed to show off the finer parts of Dwayne's game while also adding in maybe a little movement stuff to kind of answer some of those questions.
I love it.
Let's go to work, fellas.
Early part here. We do have a mic on Haskins' quarterback coach, Quincy Avery, there. Certainly worked out for Deshaun Watson. Has been a terrific player in the NFL for the Houston Texans after being a first-round pick. Haskins hoping to follow suit here. Obviously, we've talked about him as a potential landing spot there at #6 to the New York Giants. And Daniel Jeremiah is live with us from Columbus, down on the field, along with all 32 teams, GMs, and coaches alike. DJ, what are you seeing?
Yeah, I'm going to just give you guys a quick little nugget that I'm going to unplug so I can see a little bit better from my current location. But I talked to Quincy before the workout. Hey, what's the theme? What are you trying to feature today? And it is the quick, subtle movements within the pocket. And I thought that was interesting because when I go through my notes, at times when Dwayne gets in trouble, I thought that his feet failed to catch up to his eyes. He's seeing everything. He's working through his progression, but sometimes his feet don't get there. And so that's something they're really going to try and feature today is some of that pocket movement, quick, sudden pocket movement, get those feet and eyes aligned and distribute the football. So that's kind of the theme for the day.
Okay, interesting. Way to work, DJ. Thanks very much. And if this thing doesn't work out for you, by the way, you might have a future on the 18th green at the Masters. That was a terrific subdued voice.
Oh, it's so fun to talk like this. I love this voice.
All right, here we go. We've talked about it as well. Probably the most talented pro day receiving core that we're going to see. Johnny Dixon, which you'll see number 83. And then you've got Terry McLaurin and Paris Campbell, all among the receivers that we'll see here. Hard to find the numbers for you. It's on their upper left-hand shoulder if you're looking. And we've got, as I mentioned, we've got a mic on Quincy Avery, Haskins' personal quarterback coach, and let's listen in as they begin the workout.
Slant coming back right. Yep. Under 3.
Okay, so we said under center there, right? 3-step, hit the slant.
There it is. Good shot, boy. Slant come back left.
What's up?
There it is. We got a glance. Come over right.
Lance should be
skinny post, right?
Yeah, trying to ease into it. You see a lot of the stuff that they're doing. It was under center quick game.
P, you want another slant, coach?
Now, what do you make of the pace and the tempo of a workout like this? Is there anything to be gleaned from that?
No, we'll go right.
No, like I think the big thing, like we've seen guys attack it a couple of different ways, up tempo to show their conditioning. I think for Dwayne Haskins, I don't think that is an issue. They had him repeat doing the slant. That was Paris Campbell making that catch.
Yeah.
Just trying to go through the quick game. What you're trying to do is paint a picture so coaches that are there can kind of envision Dwayne in their offense. Some of these things are West Coast staples.
Coming at you, D.
Trying to say, hey, he can play in a pro-style offense and traditional offense.
So we mentioned Dwayne Haskins had dinner last night with the New York Giants contingent. Dave Gettleman head coach Pat Shurmur sitting there at number 6. So if you're
Hey, we
Pat
got a
Shurmur
9-yard
and you're
hinge on the
watching
left
this
side.
workout on the field, what are you watching? Where do your eyes go when you're seeing Haskins?
I think Pat Shurmur is looking at the feet,
Yep.
and he's trying to hear how the ball sounds coming off his hands. Does he hear the whiz? Because it talks about the velocities and the RPMs that he has, that he's able to generate on it.
Good turn, DH.
Hinge route is a 9-yard stop route. The funny thing about this, Dwayne Haskins has been running these things since he was in high school. During the Elite 11 camp circuit, these are the routes that we run and have those guys try and learn. He's just kind of going through stuff that he's always been able to do.
There's Paris Campbell once again. Yesterday on Path to the Draft, as we get a look at Paris, you kind of, in the wide receiver cluster buster, you kind of grouped him into that slot category. This is a guy, obviously, with tremendous speed, 4.3140, so he can create the separation vertically. Is he a guy that can also do that and create that kind of separation laterally in the slot in the middle of the field?
I think part of the reason why you want to at least look at him being a slot receiver is he has some kick return experience in his background. And a lot of times those guys are terrific with the ball in space. They can make people miss. And so when you put a guy in the slot, not only can you get it to him on a variety of quick routes, but also with the fly sweeps and things that we've seen with wide receivers begin to touch the ball in the run game.
Okay, let's listen in here.
Good turn, DH. Good turn, boy. We got the 18-yard dig. We got Paris on the 18-yard dig.
I pay to see this.
You got the tackle for him?
18-yard dig.
I start to the left, come back. You up, coach? Yep.
Ready.
Good shot, boy.
Boom.
Yeah.
So that's the subtle movement. So what you can see is Quincy is tossing the ball, but then he's kind of trying to mimic some of the movement that Dwayne would have to make in the pocket.
Right.
Rushers falling down around his body, having to reset, and still keep his eyes down the field to make these throws.
Shuffle.
And that was Paris Campbell running the dig. And you can also listen, even though the cameras are a little bit further away there, at the sound the ball makes when it hits the receiver's hands.
Absolutely.
So whether it's knocking them over or whether it's a catchable ball.
Yeah, because you want to see a guy who can throw a firm ball but doesn't overpower the wide receivers. Like, you need to be able to change speeds. Dwayne Haskins certainly can change speeds.
Should also mention Mike Weber, running back for the Buckeyes, as you're seeing now behind Haskins under center.
Good shot.
Little Texas route.
Ooh, look at you bringing back that West Coast verbiage.
We got the
a
rock
little
out.
angle route from Mike Weber.
Yep, delay. Delay. Yep, skip to it.
Quincy Avery running this workout for Dwayne Haskins. He is wired for sound. You'll see him and hear him intermittently through this workout.
Nice. I think it's important to note
we got Zen action.
When we're watching the throws, let's see if he consistently delivers the ball within the strike zone. Strike zone means guys are able to kind of catch the ball in the move. They don't have to react a lot. They're able to kind of continue to catch it in stride so they can get yards after catch.
That was Terry McLaurin, number 83, on that last ball, the receiver.
Jeez.
There you go. It's a good toss.
Nice deep over.
We got a comeback on the left side.
Okay.
On pump 136.
Well, 18 back to 16 here.
18 back to 16. I think the big thing that if you're at home and you're paying attention, some of these throws are what we call pro throws.
Yes.
Deep digs, deep comebacks. These are the ones where you're able to check off the arm strength.
We good.
A little off target there.
Sail.
Sail route here, so probably a corner type concept.
Yeah,
here.
flat corner should be anywhere from 15 to 18. He should catch this ball somewhere in between the numbers and the sideline.
This is Paris Campbell, the wide receiver, catching from Dwayne Haskins.
Oh.
Lost his foot.
Lost his foot. Lost his foot maybe because he tried to cut off the wrong foot. You know that Red as a former wideout.
No excuses for falling down. No excuses.
Yeah.
You got a glance to the left. Johnny, you got it?
Fell down more than once or twice.
I think he caught out a glance to the left, so this should be a little skinny post. Rhythm throw. Some would call it maybe like a bang gate.
Sure.
So real skinny post, depending on where he lines up. If he lines up in the middle of the number, he should angle out to the bottom of the number. This ball typically should be caught maybe 21 yards down the field, 1 yard top of the number.
Eat up the defensive back's cushion, make that one cut, and stay narrow.
Stay narrow, stay away from it. You think about teams that are playing cover 3, 8-man box, 3 deep safeties. It's a great route against that. old school offensive coordinators love to see guys make these throws. And what you're doing is you're having a workout that is catered to the traditionalists.
I see you, kid.
We'll do it. That's Johnny Dixon right there. That's your guy.
Hey, we got
Guy who's battled
Jalen.
some knee injuries throughout his career at Ohio State,
Man,
but's been a productive guy when
big
healthy.
time high school recruit. Took him a while to finally get on the field, but the last 2 years he scored 16 touchdowns. Really good player, even better person.
See the shallow D.
In fact, because of the injuries, Johnny Dixon considered stepping away from football in 2016. It was
You got to
Paris
see him?
Campbell stepped in and
Yeah.
kind of helped bring him back into the fold. Good thing. You'll hear his name called in Nashville.
Oh, for sure.
Give me that good release. Yep.
The speed release, working down the seams.
And when we were watching Kyler Murray's pro day, we talked about his ability to layer the ball in different spots on deep routes. You know, you've got one where you can put air on it. You've got one where you have to send it on a rope to try to beat a safety. Can you see those types of things from Haskins as well, the ability to make different kinds of throws?
Oh, absolutely. I see it, and I see him do it from a variety of different platforms and angles in terms of we're seeing him work from shotgun, we're seeing him work from under center, we're seeing him do 3, 5, 7-step drops from under center. So much of the conversation a lot of times when we talk about quarterbacks is do they have the necessary footwork to go under center?
Right.
What you're seeing is what I call an old school quarterback doing old school things.
Winston.
My big belief in Dwayne Haskins has been that he plays the game like the quarterbacks that we've seen that have had the most success in the league over the last 30 years. Traditional drop-back passers that can do it from the pocket, he can do that.
And we're seeing him get the heart rate up a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Got a good lather working. Yeah, they're working.
He's working.
Even though we're not seeing too many of the boots or too many of the movement throws, we're seeing him move within the framework of the pocket.
Yeah, within the framework. Because I actually think that's not his game. His game is to be a flamethrower from the pocket. If you try and do other things that are outside of that, that's not necessarily playing to his strengths. I think this workout is designed to highlight what he does really, really well.
Yeah, Hank. No comeback.
You know, I think by contrast, watching the San Francisco 49ers, owners the number 2 overall pick, obviously set at quarterback with Jimmy Garoppolo coming back off the ACL injury. I mean, every other play, it seemed like we're moving the pocket, right?
Oh, yeah,
with that type of offense.
Waggle.
This is not, that's not the type of system where you would find a Dwayne.
No, but the beauty of Cal Shanahan is he can tailor it. But I think if you look at the Giants and the way that Pat Shurmur has played with a variety of different quarterbacks, you can do traditional things that are West Coast specific. I've seen a lot of West Coast things in this.
Sure.
I just think he is more of your classic quarterback that you kind of draw up when you kind of envision how the position should be played. He kind of falls into that mode.
Yeah. I said it.
All right, so now another outside the hashes throw from Haskins. Oh, look at the quad box here. Scott Hansen is losing his mind somewhere watching
everything
this.
you want to see.
Red zone from the workout. Let's go. There's a throw on the move for you.
Yes, sir.
Got it.
Yeah, that's a hard throw. Obviously, you played some quarterback in the day. Rolling away from your strong hand, floating to the left, and delivering a pass while working away from your body is something that's very, very difficult. But you saw him not only make the throw, but he did it with a little touch and timing.
Dig it. For the record, digging the number 7 chain.
You like that?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Every baller has a chain with his number on it.
Akeem Talib loves that too.
You got to stay away from it too. Akeem may take that.
There's your quad box.
Yeah, we took out
You get a look from every angle, the feet, the drop, the throw, the catch. That's what we got here for you. This Path to the Draft Pro Day special presented by Lowe's here on NFL Network. Heisman Trophy finalist Dwayne Haskins throwing to a very talented crew of wide receivers. Talking about a guy in Haskins who backed up J.T. Barrett, saw some action when Barrett had to leave at various points through the 2017 season, and then came in as the one-year full-time starter and blew it out the water. 50 touchdowns, just 8 interceptions for the Buckeyes, your 2018 Big Ten champs.
I mean, think about that production. First time as a starter to have 50 touchdowns and 8 interceptions.
I mean, it's the best season we've seen from Ohio State quarterback.
So imagine that. Imagine how quickly he was able to do it. We saw this offense and what it looked like with J.T. Barrett, and then we've seen it with Dwayne Haskins. Next level with Dwayne Haskins.
Way more explosive,
for sure,
in the pass game. There's Johnny Dixon again on the in route.
You're noticing he is hammering those dig routes. They are really trying to show people that he is an NFL thrower, meaning he makes these pro-like throws that we kind of ooh and ah about. Those deep digs, deep comebacks. What you're trying to get the picture of, imagine him with a strong running game, play action pass, and taking shots down the field, chunk plays. He is not a dink and dunk thrower.
Well, and I think, again, if you go back to the Oklahoma Pro Day, Kyler Murray, look at that throw and catch. Love it.
Good catch, boy.
Might have to go to the booth on it, but definitely 1 foot for sure. So getting back to that thought here, Kyler Murray during the season had the benefit of one of the most explosive playmakers in Hollywood Brown, right? How much is Haskins' season and his production helped by the crew of guys that he had here, and McLaurin and Dixon and Campbell?
Oh, it certainly helped. I can't think of a NFL quarterback
that doesn't
that's
have
playing
that
at a high level
right.
that doesn't have a great supporting cast. We can talk about Tom Brady, but then he has always had the luxury of playing with Rob Gronkowski, who is a Hall of Fame caliber tight end. But what you would like to see is if you do surround a quarterback with that kind of talent, that he's able to put up those kind of numbers. And so when I look at Dwayne Haskins and what he's been able to do, it kind of matches up.
Here's Quincy Avery again, game planning with Haskins.
No, let's just go through it and we'll come back to it.
That's cool. That's
right.
Yeah.
A little audible, a little Omaha right here.
He's super tired. He's big tired. Yes, sir.
Now, it looks like we're seeing Avery go off and talk to somebody over there. I wonder if that's a coach asking, hey, can we see this? Does that happen?
You would like sometimes to have a little input and say, hey, can I see a handful of routes maybe that you couldn't see on tape? You want to get some of those questions answered, because part of attending a pro day is to come away with some of the answers to the questions that were kind of popped up on tape.
Here it is. Hey, Corey, give me the shallow. We'll go with the spread next.
All right, so this should be a shallow cross.
That's going to be next play. We're going to go shallow first. Yep. You are flush out. Right.
Brett Lewis, Monkey Brooks here with you, watching Dwayne Haskins. So important to note here, hard to judge the shallow by itself, right?
Now it's
going to be a part of a route combination in which he's going to have to read, whether it's low to high, high to low, come back to that, and then hit it on time.
Yeah, but the shallow is part of the flanker drive series, which is a staple in West Coast offenses. And the reason you want to show those things because so many teams use a variation and a version of West Coast concepts and principles. It allows you to see Dwayne Haskins running your system.
It's another little
nice
stop route right over the middle. Is that a zone coverage type of situation?
Zone coverage, that would be called the basic. That is your 12-yard in. A lot of times that accompanies the shallow cross. So you look at the shallow cross is in there. Your eyes then naturally go to the basic, and you deliver it right over the ball.
There's Mike Weber splitting out wide, little 5-yard out route. How'd you see Mike catch the ball on tape in his career?
He was fine. He did a good job. In some games, they really leaned him. They were able to get him the ball on screen passes, and he did some things. The big thing for running backs, and every running back in the league, you have to be a guy that can contribute in the passing game. Mike Weber have an opportunity to showcase his skills as a receiver.
Yeah, and Weber, 1,000-yard rusher in his freshman season for Ohio State, and then started the split time with J.K. Dobbins, so started to see some of the carries come down and the yardage, although he got back up to 954 here in his junior season in 2018. 24 rushing touchdowns, though, for his career. Guy who caught 54 passes. So this is not necessarily a red zone type of fade situation, but that's basically what they're throwing here. I thought it was interesting. That was one of the plays that they broke down when Haskins was sitting with Ryan Day. Brought up the Maryland game, and it was the fade to tie the game and send it into overtime. And Ryan asked Dwayne, how many times you practice that? Wednesday red zone, probably threw that ball 200 times, talking about ball placement. It's so important in a route like that.
That's pretty.
Nice throw. Ball placement is always ideal.
Terry, you good on this?
Got to keep it outside. Got to keep it
Got to
away
keep
from
it
the
outside.
DB.
You
Can't
know,
be waiting inside.
when I first entered the league, they talked about wide receivers only a foot of space between you and the DB being open, and that the reason they pay quarterbacks $22 million is to put it in that tight window. Dwayne Haskins has to show people that he can consistently fit it into that tight window, into the mailbox, as DJ likes to say. And I think we've seen a lot of times on tape and today that he's able to kind of throw the ball down and shoot into those tight windows.
Okay, we're seeing quite a few of these throws coming from under center. There's a deep ball. Take it.
Yeah, I've seen it. I mean, this is exactly what I thought. I thought he was one of the more natural throwers. You know, the difference between he and Kyler Murray simply comes down to style of quarterback. What quarterback do you want for your system? Do you want a mobile, athletic guy that can give you something in the run game? Well, Kyler Murray is your guy. But if you want a traditional pocket passer, Dwayne Haskins is your guy. He can make every throw in the book. The playbook is wide open for you. It really comes down to what do you want as your franchise quarterback.
Question.
He's got the stutter go.
And then see game plans again here with his
Johnny,
quarterback coach, Quincy Avery. Thought it was interesting from one of the shots we saw Mickey Loomis, Saints general manager, in the background, and they obviously came here to Columbus Pro Day a couple of years ago and found one of the best receivers in football, Michael Thomas, in the second round, and that may be a spot where you see a couple of these Buckeye receivers we're talking about go.
Yeah,
if Paris Campbell doesn't hear his name called on night one.
Okay, we got a stutter go on this. But yes, that is a sweet spot. Day two is a sweet spot for a couple of the Ohio State Buckeye wide receivers to go. Second and third round guys that aren't necessarily those first round difference makers, but guys that can be solid contributors as a second or third receiver.
And Terry McLaurin's an interesting one to me. He's number 83 on the upper left of that long sleeve Ohio State Pro Day gear out there today. Kind of the rare guy that was a redshirt senior. Played for 5 years, 4 years really on the field with the red shirt. But a guy that had 11 touchdowns on 35 receptions. So every third catch was a touchdown and had a good week at the Senior Bowl as well.
Had a very good week at the Senior Bowl. The fact that he's able to consistently put the ball in the paint is a huge
That's an attractive trait.
Very, very attractive trait. While we were talking about McLaurin, Dwayne Haskins decided to deliver a dart down the seam. And so you want to see guys that can throw a variety of pitches at certain areas, and that
he's got the deep post.
Catching it.
No, check. We are a wheel, yeah. You up, Mike, you up. Sorry. Thank you.
A little wheel route coming from Mike Weber out of the backfield.
Do you want to take the Dino? I know you haven't ran it. I mean, the Dino on the right. Pierce is supposed to have it.
Are they talking about a Dino route? I'm getting real interested. That's outside over the shoulder. That's where it needs to be, right?
Yep. All right, so if they do decide to run the Dino is a post, corner,
we got post. Coming up. Yeah.
This is a trick 'em route right here. DBs say this is one where you get all spun around.
He got the Dino, but
Dino, there you see him talking about it. So, in fact, this was the money route on the whiteboard session that Dwayne Haskins did with the Mariucci at the Combine.
Bake.
They called it bake, shake, and bake.
Called it a bake.
That's what Jerry Rice ran on the backside.
Doing amazing.
Quick play action. Let it rip. Take that about a yard off that center marker. And that's where that has to be there. And also interesting to note, we saw Paris Campbell slip on a sail route.
And he hasn't been back in since.
We'll keep our eye on that for you, see if DJ or Didi can get some information on Paris, see if he's all right after that. We're almost 30 minutes into this workout here for Dwayne Haskins.
Got goal line.
Oh, goal line. Here we go. So this is where, when I was talking about that fade route against Maryland, this is where that came from. This is inside the 5. Is your guy better than him on the perimeter, and can you put that ball in the bucket and let him go make a play?
JD, catch your breath. Yeah, you got to fade. Where's the press? How you guys doing? How you guys doing a fantastic job, man. Fantastic.
So they're going to take a quick breather here. How about a quick recap here, Bucky, of the things that have been most impressive for you and whether they matched up to what you saw from him?
I think it matched up very, very well from what we saw on tape. When we looked at the X and O's breakdowns of Dwayne Haskins, we saw him make a variety of throws throughout his career at Ohio State. This season in particular, we saw him throw drive throws. We saw him make anticipatory throws. We saw him throw with touch and timing. He can do all those things. He layered it to the second and third level. He can hit you with the deep ball. He can throw to the opposite boundary from the opposite hash. Every pitch is in the repertoire. It's just a matter of when he needs to pull it out. It really comes down to, do I want a traditional pocket quarterback? Do I have the ability to build an offensive line to allow him to do what he does really well? Because if you're able to do those things, he is the quarterback that most offensive coordinators traditionally prefer to work with.
Right, you're seeing Paris Campbell kind of walking around there in the white pullover. Hasn't really participated since slipping on a sail route, but we were talking about Paris earlier, and you had kind of grouped him as a potential slot wideout at the next level. And there's kind of a difference. I think a lot of people, when they watch the NFL and watch teams, think of slot receivers as smaller guys, as Julian Edelman type quick guys that can win on those option routes in the middle of the field. But there's also the bigger slot guy.
Yeah, the slot receiver position is changing. The job description is changing. We have the traditional slot guys that are quick, probably quicker than fast. They can work against linebackers and nickel corners and kind of get open and create separation with their quickness.
There's your fade ball.
That is a nice fade ball. You also saw how they have it kind of marked out that little box. I'm sure that's from practice.
That's where it's got to go.
But how it needs to be dropped in.
Option left. We got an option left.
Dwayne Haskins can do that.
Option off me.
The other slot receivers that you can see are the big receivers that are like a Michael Thomas, the guys that can win with their physicality and toughness. Marcus Colston did that for years. Larry Fitzgerald has been able to do that more recently.
We've seen Cooper Kupp do it for the LA Rams when healthy in the slot out of their 11 personnel.
Are you good? Okay.
Daniel Jeremiah watching this workout live from the field in Columbus inside the Woody Hayes Athletic Complex.
Good return.
DJ, get your thoughts here on what we've seen so far. Welcome back.
Yeah, first of all, I appreciate Johnny Dixon not running me over on that corner route a little bit ago. Got a little tight there, boys. But look, it's been interesting to watch this workout because when I go back and look at my notes, you know, a lot of the questions that you have, I thought they've done a really good job of addressing those with this workout. For one example, when he escaped and get off to his right, Dwayne Haskins was money. Sometimes when he escaped to his left, his accuracy would leave him. So he throws a beautiful ball on the move to his left. Then I want to see, you know, how quick, how sudden are you with your footwork? Something we talked about at the top. They've really tried to feature that. A variety of footwork has been on display, different drops, play actions. You get a chance to see him really kind of tuck his shoulder and move around suddenly. And he's done a nice job with that. Anticipation would definitely be high up on the list today of what stood out to me. The only thing, I mean, if you're trying to find a negative, you're going to be nitpicky. I mean, he can dedefinitely see he's gassed.
Yeah,
I mean, he is working. Where Kyler Murray didn't really break a sweat, and it was just kind of a smooth, easy deal. You know, you can tell Dwayne's really working here.
231. He's got a little more weight to move around than Kyler Murray, even though Kyler surprised us a little bit by being 207. And look, that painted area. That's where it's got to be on the fade. Area. Practiced, according to Dwayne Haskins, every Wednesday. A little red zone fade practice, about 200 of these balls every Wednesday during his time at Ohio State.
Hey, Buck, I know you've got a chance to look at these wide receivers as well, but, you know, McLaurin's had a good day. But Johnny Dixon, to me, if you're looking for a big winner today, Johnny Dixon has been the cleanest route runner. Unfortunately, Paris Campbell got nicked and had to shut it down. But Johnny Dixon, with a lot of receivers coaches here, you know, look, the Giants, we all assume they're here to look at the quarterback. They've got a needed receiver now, too, as everybody knows. So he's had a really good day.
You know, DJ, he was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. He was a kid down in Florida that I had a chance to work with on the opening tour, and I just fell in love with him in high school. I was surprised that it took him a while to kind of get his feet up under him at Ohio State. Last 2 years, he started to come on and show some of that talent that we saw in high school. 16 touchdowns the last 2 years, and today when you watch him, you can see some of the special traits that really made him a highly coveted recruit coming out of high school.
Look, if you can
Guys,
catch
my
18...
biggest concern, Rhett,
Yeah.
my biggest concern is that I'm going to get home and I'm not going to be able to get out of this voice. And I'm going to, hey, kids, it's time for dinner.
Into it.
Let's get ready to
You're
go.
nailing it right now.
Did you do your homework?
You are nailing it.
Okay, good. That's good.
Hey, DH, you want your sluggo again right now?
back to Johnny Dixon, 18 catches his junior year at Ohio State, 8 of them were touchdowns.
Yeah, they would put the ball in the paint.
Get this guy in the paint.
He has done that.
Him and McLaurin are both excellent special teams players, too.
Important to note, as we're talking about, day 2 picks here, or can you make your impact?
Special teams.
Yep.
Man, I get the sense that they threw a lot of balls in those corners.
Oh, yeah, they are painting the corners right now.
They're really working on throwing into those corners.
Look, that it's a place where only your guy can make the play, right? Only your guy should come down with the ball. There's Dwayne.
Guys, there's some good receivers here on the field, but the best ones on the sideline. Marvin Harrison is down here.
Is that right?
Marvin, I wonder if his son. I don't think his son is going to Ohio State. Marvin has a son that is a senior in high school. Can't remember where he committed, but maybe he's going to be a Buckeye.
I don't know what it is with these NFL receivers. They don't age, man. We see Curtis Conway all the time. We see Michael Irvin. See Marvin. These guys all look like they can still play.
Curtis Conway, how about the 7th overall pick of the Chicago Bears back in 1993? He'll join us tonight on Path to the Draft, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on NFL Network. Hey, DJ, talking about Paris, any word on whether he's all right or what happened there?
No, I'm gonna unhook here in a minute and go find him and see what the deal was. It looked like maybe it looked like he rolled his ankle. My first fear when something like that happens, oh gosh, I hope he didn't do anything to his Achilles, but he was walking around fine. Okay. So as someone with experience in that, I know that's not the issue.
Right. Okay, there's Mike Weber out of the backfield into the end zone from Haskins. Hey, Daniel, where do you have Mike Weber right now? I think a lot of times when we talk about the running backs, it starts with the Alabama guys and Josh Jacobs and Damian Harris. Where does Weber fit in there?
Good catch, kid.
To me, guys, Mike Weber, I have him kind of in that next tier, which kind of puts him in that fourth round range. While we don't have a bunch of premier backs in this year's draft, it's a crowded group once you get from rounds 2, 3, and 4. And so, to me, I kind of slot him in that 4th, 5th round range for me. Today had a drop. He doesn't catch it super easy and naturally. And so, he did run a little bit better than I anticipated in Indianapolis. But I view him kind of in that middle round tier of backs.
Yeah, into the 4.47 from Indy.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily think he played to that speed.
Right. Haskins from the 5. Back of the end zone throw. Got it.
Yeah.
Haskins to Johnny Dixon. And that looks like the final completion, a touchdown. Call it his 51st of his career as a Buckeye there from the 2018 season. I love it. Good work out there from Dwayne Haskins. You saw every throw right here on this Path to the Draft Pro Day special live from Columbus. Rhett Lewis, Bucky Brooks, Daniel Jeremiah.